Early. Yo, we are here finally. It's another episode of Early.
68.
You know what I'm saying?
Feeling
68.
great.
It's May 6th. We got early. Okay, so we was just talking about we was just talking about Broccoli City is this weekend. So shout out to Broccoli City. Yeah, I was just telling you how I feel like I got a real connection with Broccoli City because the first time I ever picked up a camera,
it's one of the festivals.
It was the first ever Broccoli City Festival. Me and my guys, I was going to Hampton at this time. Me and my guys,
2016.
This was like 20. This got to be like 2013. Yeah, my last year of college.
Like that?
Yeah, this is my last year. First joint.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
So yeah, my senior year of college, or my second senior year,
right.
the senior year. But so me and my guys just literally, like, Teresa sends me a text like, this event is happening.
Mm-hmm.
I was in Virginia, so she was like, this is happening this weekend. If you can, like, pull up. So me and guys drive down for that. No, nothing. We just got a camera. Gives us 520s back. He gives us the change. You know what I'm saying? He literally broke the 100 and gave it back to us and let us in. You know what I'm saying? So like that was win number one. You know what I'm saying? I was like, it's gonna be a good day. You know what I'm saying? So we're walking around with the camera, just getting people to like scream "It's fucking Nation" and like fucking. I meet Shy Glizzy, get him to scream "It's fucking Nation" on camera. I meet I don't know if motherfuckers know Tabby Bonet. Oh no, you're from here. no, I forgot I wasn't in Virginia.
Respect Tabby Bonet.
Yeah,
I hope you know him.
Facts. So we meet Tabby Bonet, get him to scream "It's fucking Nation." My boy Nico, he had this clothing line called Millie Roots. Right before Big Crit gets on stage, we're like just hovering over like where motherfuckers is going to the stage. This nigga gives him he like tosses him a fucking Millie Roots t-shirt. The nigga like lands on, like, literally on some serendipitous shit, lands on his shoulder. This nigga grabs it, he's like, oh shit, you know what I'm saying? And then he just kind of holds on to it. A couple of days later, this nigga posts a picture with the shirt on, you know what I'm saying? Like turned up. So yeah, like that was the first ever Broccoli City we went to, and it was very lit. And then like a couple years after that, I got the opportunity to interview the creators of Broccoli City. Shout out to my guy CH. Yeah, so like it's on It's Nation TV right now.
Is that Uncle Scooty or
what's these niggas' names? It's funny, it's crazy. I can't remember.
It's dope though.
It's like three of them. One of the dudes I remember specifically because I was really into his story. He was like a Cali dude. He came from like I think Oakland or something like that, and he was throwing parties out there, and he kind of just saw how like, you know, in our area, or at least like in the parts of DC that he was in, he was noticing how like, you know, what they call like deserted food areas where like there's no healthy food around. There's just like bad food. So it's like McDonald's, no good shit. You know what I'm saying? So he noticed that stark difference between where he was from and where he was living. So that's why he wanted to bring Broccoli City out here. So that was cool. So like I always fuck with the Broccoli City festival. You know what I'm saying? I haven't been in a couple years. I'm just kind of like, I feel like I'm too washed for festivals these days. I be getting tired easily.
To be honest, bro, like me personally, and this is just a personal thing. Nowadays, you know, the spaces that niggas occupying shit like that, I'm like, I'm sorry, I just can't go.
I can't go. I gotta get a check, man.
I can't like, go to no festival.
I just can't go hang out.
Time. Can't even like my
not
spirit.
A consumer.
It's not even like even I want to. My spirit be like I can't even do it.
And you know what's funny? There's
like,
I know that I can't because there's been times I've tried to. There's been times I've tried to, and literally 2 hours in, I'm like, what am I doing here? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, why am I here? I'm on the wrong side of this. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a big fact, bro. But so shout out to Broccoli City. But let's get into what we, you know what I'm saying, what we plan to talk about today. Sports. First of all, we got Gracie J coming on in a little bit,
man.
The editorial nail on Instagram. She is a really dope artist. I was getting lost in her Instagram over the past couple of days.
She's a Renaissance woman, bro.
Renaissance woman.
She does all what people ain't know, and like how she's definitely got a good foot in her, like that the nail industry within her realm. But like, man, as an artist, illustrator, fucking just content creator, she's going fucking crazy. Yeah,
she's turned. So I'm excited to have her on for sure. But before we get into that, we're going to get into some sports talk. There's a lot, like we're right in the thick of the NBA playoffs, second round vibes. You know what I'm saying? We got the Sixers.
You've been hitting, bro. I know you was 7-3 to end last week.
Yeah. No, this week has been
more
good. More of the same, bro.
That's nice.
More of the same, bro.
Nice.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I was shout out to props.cash. We're gonna get into that in a little bit,
sure.
but that's one of the tools. I got a plethora of tools. You know what I'm saying? I got a plethora of tools that I use to do my research every week with my bets. But I think that's the most important thing. You know what I'm saying? Is doing your research. Like, I think people don't realize that you want to make educated bets. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to just go in there picking shit that feels good, picking shit like. Do not bet with your heart. Do not bet with your emotions. Like, look it up. You know, if you got a hunch about something, yeah, it's good to have hunches. You know what I'm saying? But like, try to find some evidence that backs that up. You know what I'm saying?
Applies to all facets, y'all.
Yeah. Shout out Santana.
Yeah, that
shit show.
Oh,
got to bet on Prize Picks. Prize Picks is lit too.
Okay,
yeah, I'm hip to Prize Picks. I think they're more like over under. Like, you can just pick the over under on something. Whereas, you know, FanDuel, you can be like, this person will have this amount of points or whatever. But Prize Picks is lit too. But yeah, I think doing your research is the most important thing. And then also just like peeping the trends. You know what I'm saying? Things 100%. Like that. But like, before we get into exactly that, like, I know. We were talking about kind of the happenings that have been happening around the NBA. You know what I mean? Now that we're in the thick of playoffs, Joel Embiid in that Sixers series,
it's looking like he's not gonna come back.
I hate to hear that.
Yeah, the timing.
Hate to hear that, bro. This nigga was healthy all year. Like, when you talk about somebody who had a crazy workload all year long, it was Joel Embiid. You know what I'm saying?
When you think about it too, it's like. It's unfortunate sometimes because when the timing of some of these injuries happen, it's like, you know, structurally this team can now change due to the fact that y'all not about to reach the goal of this year. So like, I'm looking at Doc Rivers like, yo, bro, unfair or not,
I've been
you're probably gonna be out of there, because the thing is, when we talking about management, if you're not management's guy and the management comes after you, it's like, yo, you're on thin ice. Not even like because there's a quarrel. It's just like, you're not my guy. I didn't bring you in here. And Daryl Morey, you know how he is. He's like considered around the league.
Oh, Daryl Morey don't really fuck with.
No, he fucks with D'Antoni, who's the assistant. Harden, like, bro, he was with the Rockets. He's trying to formulate this whole thing again.
James Harden.
Like, this is the thing. If Harden gets a max, it's because Daryl, because no other team will give that. Based on what you're seeing, right? So that's something also
we're seeing very average James Harden right now.
Or
and
like
you would even pose the question like, is he out of his prime? You know what I'm saying?
I would say it's more so of, you know, just like with all things in life, you shift and then you see what type of role that you can play the older that you get in life, you know? And I feel like, to be honest, I give him grace just because of like the level that he's played throughout the years. It's more so it's like, look, niggas got to transition. Nigga done been on 2 teams in a matter of a couple months, like, you know, and 3 in less than 2 years. So, and then getting injured and all that shit. So I'm like, well, what do you really expect? This league is difficult. Like, teams are nice all across the board. So you can't just be dropping people and thinking
that's why when we talk about fucking Ben Simmons, like, when is he coming back? I'm like, bro, stay on the bench, bro. Don't even come back. Cause like, when honestly, I am interested to see what he looks like when he comes back. Cause bro, you cannot stay out of the game for 2 years and expect to come back and be the guy that you were. Like, to pick up where you left off, bro. Like, ask Le'Veon Bell. I know it's a different sport, but it's the same concept. Like, all these niggas are professionals. All these niggas are playing every day.
100%.
The court, like, the on-court action is different from like training and practices. And motherfuckers be trying to show like him at practice knocking down shots. I'm like, nigga, he's been doing that. Like,
100%.
It's playoff games when he needs to do. You know what I'm saying? We don't need to see him doing that against the trainer who's 5'10". You know what I'm saying? We need to see like, what are we talking about?
When you showing your reps and your process, like, nigga, there's no comp. You don't have by yourself. I don't give a fuck about that. Like, what does that mean?
Like, I don't even know why I just gave Ben Simmons a stray like that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't have to bring him up, but still, nigga caught a stray one for no reason. But it just goes to show, like, if we're going back to Harden, it's like, I mean, because Harden's always had those like that, the things that you would hear about him is like, you know, he's always out of shape and all this type of stuff. And maybe that's coming into play now. I don't know. I don't look at Harden and be like, he's out of shape. I just be like, I think the way that he plays the game is like he's never been like a quick twitch kind of guy.
It's high volume, and it's centered around him. So that's what we've been accustomed to for the past 6, 7,
but I
8
think
years.
But I think he was kind of thriving when it wasn't centered around him. It was centered around Embiid. Like I liked what was happening with him and Embiid getting it in together. But like now that it's back to just being him, it's getting ugly. You know what I'm saying? Also, they're playing a really tough team in the Bulls, bro. Like the Bulls are really tough.
Is it the Bulls they're playing? Is it or
yeah?
Oh, word.
Celtics are playing Milwaukee and
the Bucks.
Yeah.
Okay.
Celtics are playing the Bucks and the Sixers. I was like, wait a second, are they? Nah, yeah. Sure. And the only reason I remember is because the Celtics. I mean the Bulls. They're the number one defense against like assists.
Oh, okay.
And Harden is an assist guy. Like Harden, any night he can get 10. Hadn't even hit 10 this series. You know what I'm saying? They dropped his assist line actually down to 8.5 today, which is super low for Harden. Like he's usually like in the 9.5, 10.5. But he hasn't really been hitting his assist line, so they dropped it down.
Wait, it's not the Bulls, it's the Heat.
I'm saying the Bulls. I'm thinking Jimmy Butler.
I'm on some.
I'm thinking Jimmy Butler still plays for the Bulls.
Wait,
no, you're right.
One person picked them for the finals.
No, you're absolutely right.
You're
absolutely right.
Sure.
This person said his dedication to the game ain't the same. James Harden. I would say it's consistent with how it's always been. Like it's never been, but he's never been the guy. You know what I'm saying?
That's not true. No, that's not true. It's the thing though. It's the fact that now he's not the guy. He's trying to find his footing.
Yeah.
He's not the guy.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm like, let's just wait till next year. Because I feel like if he embodied that point guard, which I know he can play to,
he is a point guard.
Need to be no 30 a game.
Yeah.
She can be very deadly.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, James Harden could be a walking triple double. You know what I'm saying? If he had like that, if he was that second guy, you know what I'm saying? If he could just like run the point the whole time.
But like, let's definitely let's talk about that. The Bucks and
the Bucks Celtics is another series that I like.
Niggas giving
you know what I'm saying?
Game 7 vibes. You know
that looking like
what's been hitting for you in this series?
This series. So when it comes to the NBA playoffs, I'm learning, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like last year's playoffs was my first time like really betting consistently. Right. And I was just kind of hitting. Like I always tell you, Paul George is my guy. Like if there was no bet I was placing any day, it would be Paul George rebounds, right? He's not in the playoffs this year. You know what I'm saying? So now I'm kind of just like trying to figure out like who's reliable guys that you can bet on. And really, honestly, what I'm seeing is like nobody's really reliable, dog. If y'all are watching and y'all are in the comments and y'all are sports bettors, tell me what some of y'all favorite things to bet on are right now, because I'm seeing a lot of unders hitting. Word. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of unders. Like I said, James Harden's under assists I hit on.
For sure.
Fucking Struss from the Heat, his under points I hit on the other day.
Okay.
Dylan Brooks. Dylan Brooks got ejected after 3 minutes. So his unders hit for everybody that took him. But you know what I'm saying? Like I'm noticing that if you under some role players, you know what I'm saying? Because like the stars are gonna do what they do, but even like the defense has just stepped up, bro. Like we saw Giannis have like 6 points in the first half, or 5 points in the first half last game. Like I mean, he finished with 28 or something like that. But
it's you're talking these overs and unders, and it's crazy because it's crazy when you actually see that data visually, bro.
Yeah,
and like. Earlier this week when I had seen that shit, like how you had placed that shit on the graphs, that props, that cash.
Yeah.
I literally looked at it, I said, bro, if you can analyze how it's going exactly like this, I'm like, bro, 6 times out of 7 times, it's gonna do this.
You know what's funny? So
make, the probability right in your face.
We're literally talking about fucking props that we like for this game. So I'm gonna pull up pull up props.
It's the alpha, y'all. And we'll last week,
you know what I'm saying? If you guys aren't watching on
last week,
YouTube,
I'm gonna tell you right now, all the calls that he put in to lead into the weekend.
Oh, shout out Gas. He said,
hit.
Facts. Yeah, last week we had a great weekend. Last week, Gas said Bane's threes hit every time.
Hey,
shout out to Desmond Bane. I'm not mad at Desmond Bane's threes. Like first of all, what do you think about John? Okay, we didn't even get past the Celtics Bucks. We didn't even get past the Celtics Bucks. But so what's your take on that series?
It's gonna be a game 7. It's gonna go all the way. That's what at first it looked like the Bucks was gonna get them out of there, but the game 2 was real like they're not rocking. Jaylen Brown really coming hard. Like I think that can go 6.
Jaylen Brown went hard last
I think it's
week,
gonna go 6-7. And even though I think Celtics they could win it, I'm still going to bang with the Bucks. I'm gonna go with the Bucks.
Yeah.
But fucking
okay, so right now we're looking at for the Boston Celtics and Milwaukee Bucks game. If we're looking at points lines, Al Horford's points lines is at 80% in the last 5 games. What do you think about Al Horford? I feel like I can't rely on him. You know what I'm saying?
Hey,
but 13, 12, 11.
Hey, and just to let y'all know right now, I don't know if and maybe Mek could hit y'all with an affiliate link or something to get y'all in the game. But this is props.cash. This is real alpha. If you are on the show right now, on the link in the bio, you can tune in.
Yeah.
This is $20 a month, Alpha. Go check it out right now. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
And I think you definitely get like the free trial. You get like the free 14 days or something like that.
Sweet. That's really sweet.
So Jason Tatum's, you know what I'm saying? Like he's gone under 29.5 the last 3 games. Milwaukee's defense is tough. And then they also got here right on the right-hand side, you know what I'm saying, where Milwaukee ranks as far as like points allowed, field goal percentage allowed, you know what I'm saying? So all of your statistics right here, you know what I'm saying? Like props.cash is definitely one of my favorite things to, and this is not, this is not a sponsored thing or anything like that. I'm just like literally I like I said, I was posting it, you know what I'm saying? And then you had hit me up like, what's this? Flint hit me up like, what's this? You know what I'm saying? Everybody hit me up like, what is this? So I'm just like letting y'all know this is what I use to say do my bet research. But let's move to that Milwaukee
and Gasquet before we even like Chris Middleton getting injured gave Celtics hope for sure. For sure. That's huge. That's huge for the Celtics.
That is huge.
They should capitalize on it. I like how the Bucks like the veteranship, and then also they so big in the paint too. But we're gonna see.
Yeah. But Warriors, Grizzlies. Do you think the Grizzlies stand a chance or what?
No, but I think it's like an entertaining series. I think it's great to watch. But I think more so the Warriors real challenge.
What did Ja drop? 47?
Yeah, the other night.
Stupid.
Yeah, for sure. I think their real challenge is gonna be the Suns. That's gonna be a true challenge.
Are we gonna see Suns?
I think Suns gonna pass that.
Warriors,
Mavericks, they're gonna get them
next round.
Mavericks,
Luka.
That's what you also saying with Luka too. It's like this thing is so elite, but 2 things. One,
no one else there.
One, that's one. You need to get him a bona fide 2.
I think they thought that was going to be, they thought that was going to be Brunson, but Brunson all year was good. He's just not showing up in this series. I don't know what it is.
And Brunson, I don't know if they'll have the money to even keep him. We'll see. I think they should though. I think
he's a big money guy. Like he's
going to be looking for a contract. He's definitely going to be coming to contract year. So it's going to be that year. It's like, do we want to break the bank though? Because another team might be willing. To
and Tim Hardaway Jr. probably going to come back. I think he's hurt.
Tim Hardaway's always been a streaky guy though. But I would say then also, Luka definitely got to be a better defender. That's something he got to work on that because like Chris Paul was putting him in the blender. Like they targeted him on pick and rolls.
Really.
And that's it, because Chris Paul's going to beat him off the roll every time. Yeah. So it's like little things like that. It's like, bro, as elite as you are, you're not. And I already know Luka's going to target on that. I know this offseason for Luka is going to be crazy. Yeah. It's going to be very crazy. Yeah. Because this shit right here is like this is a learning process. This would be school. Like you down 0-2. The series not over. But at the same time, you seeing I feel like Suns are playing this shit real surgical. They're like, bro, we already know exactly what we're going to do. It's just you. Nobody else is getting us out the way. So, and Suns be strapping. Suns be strapping.
They got one of the best defenses in the league. They definitely got one of the best defenses in the league, but also like Dallas in their own right, they got a tough defense as well. You know what I'm saying?
I think
statistically
they're
one of the best defenses as well.
To me in a way though too.
Really? Like
I think
they're happy to be here.
Right here. Like no, right here is exactly what y'all are.
Expectations. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Second round of the playoffs. Expectations. Win a series. You know what I'm saying? Win one series. Yeah. It's funny because I remember earlier in the week when we were talking, you were talking about like, the Suns might be really tough. And I remember earlier in the year when we were talking about like I think I had mentioned something about like how likely do you see the Bucks and the Suns going back to this, and you were kind of like, no, like the Suns got there on accident last year. You know what I'm saying? Like, but like
broke in their favor.
Yeah, it worked in their favor.
Watch this.
Yeah. And they're answering the call for sure.
Answering it.
For sure. And then there's another series.
Shout out CP3, bro.
Oh yeah,
old as hell, bro.
Old as fuck.
Playing the point guard to the best right now.
Old as fuck, and
crazy.
he's literally he was in the MVP conversation. Like
He doing it. This is crazy, bro.
Chris Paul he's drinking from the fountain of youth for sure. That nigga's not showing his age.
At the wrong time. It's always wrong time everybody. With you. So just
that's what everybody, bro. Like look at Embiid now.
But you know his story is like he still don't have this shit, and he always be so close. I'm just like, yo, bro, here it is again.
Yeah.
Like CP been getting close every time, and it don't happen. I'm like,
but that shit's hard, bro.
No, but I'm telling you, and then sometimes it be like the craziest shit. It'd be like, bro, you was up 3-1 twice, lost. Oh, last you was about to win it, you got injured. Like, damn, this is crazy. So now again, I'm like, try to get through this year, bro. I think y'all can break through. Y'all could be the Warriors for sure.
I feel like it could be. The way I see it is
shout out the Brave Browsers.
The way I see it is gonna be I see the Warriors, man, because I feel like there's nobody that can really beat the Warriors right now in a 7-game series. They're looking too tough.
Any bets that you like within this current the Grizzlies?
Yeah,
Warriors?
let's see. Like with that? Grizzlies, Warriors. Well, I'll definitely take the Warriors spread. You know what I'm saying?
What was this joint that you had shown me on the props? Cash Ja Morant hit every time. It was like
his rebounds and assists.
Rebounds and assists.
Yeah, his rebounds and assists. So people that like playing props, you can play rebounds, you can play assists, you can play points, or you can play points and rebounds. You can play points and assists. You can play rebounds plus assists. So basically, what that means is like if you bet on somebody to hit like 15.5 points plus rebounds, that means or rebounds plus assists, that means they just have to have a total of 16 rebounds or assists. So if you have 10 rebounds, 6 assists, 10 assists, 6 rebounds, whatever the fuck, whatever combination, 8 and 8, whatever.
And those be good like
and that hits. Yeah. Tough. So Ja, again, going back to like who rebounds on the Grizzlies? You know what I'm saying? It's like a committee of people rebound, like they don't got a rebounder. You know what I'm saying? Jaren Jackson, I think, is a play that I called last week. Jaren Jackson's rebounds, like his line was at 5.5 when I called that, and he got 14 rebounds that game. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's not many rebounders on the Grizzlies, and Steven Adams hasn't been playing, so Jaren Jackson's his rebounds have gone up. Ja Morant's rebounds has gone up. You know what I'm saying? If like Dylan Brooks, I feel like Dylan Brooks is kind of losing his cool this playoffs.
Brody said Warriors Grizzlies same game parlay is gonna be fun today. Yes.
Yeah. Warriors. Oh yeah, facts. Like, because there's a lot of points to be had in that series. Like the Warriors all season long statistically had a good defense, but like, they let Ja go for 47. You know what I'm saying? Like, I did not see that happening. Like motherfuckers are gonna score in that series. So definitely cook up some same game parlays for that series. Like, let's see what they even got as options right now. So player points. Ja sitting at 28.5. Jaren Jackson sitting at 15.5. Steph Curry sitting at 27.5. Klay Thompson at 21.5. I might take that under. Aaron, because like Klay Thompson. No, but don't get me wrong. Like Klay Thompson is always like.
Is that the first joint you taking right there? Like Klay Thompson? Like,
nah, I'm not. I'm not gonna make that an official play. I'm not gonna make that an official play.
Okay.
I mean, at first glance, there's nothing here that really sticks out to me. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I definitely got to dive in. But what I will say is, when it comes to spreads, I'm definitely going to take Milwaukee minus 2.5.
Cool.
Because coming off that blowout, I feel like they definitely feel like they need to come. They got blown out last game. I feel like they definitely are going to want to make a statement at home. So that 2.5.
They stole one. So in a way,
they stole one. Like it's a little bit house money, but like you don't want to drop one at home after getting blown out in the last game. You know what I'm saying? That's a bad look. So I feel like they get it together at home, and they shoot from the 3. They shoot much better at home. Sure. So yeah, I like that's my favorite play. If I had to pick one, it's the spread. I think I was telling you, like, I don't really do much player props during the playoffs, just because like. I don't know, man. Like I hate losing money. I hate losing money. It's funny, you can't be in this game unless you like are comfortable with it. But I hate it, and I feel like these playoffs have been weird. Like motherfuckers have not been hitting. Not even that they haven't been hitting. You know what I'm saying? If you're taking their unders, then yeah. But the stars have been. The stars have been hitting their. You know what I'm saying? Like Luca went crazy,
a lot of
Ja
random
went crazy.
Coming.
It's random. So like I feel like I gotta like analyze things. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't have time to do that this morning.
Okay.
At least not in the NBA side of things. But yeah. So we're gonna take a quick little commercial break. We got Gracie coming on, the editorial nail on Instagram. Definitely can't wait to get into our conversation with her. We're gonna be right back.
Make sure my vocals right. Make sure the beat right. Welcome to the 5th show.
Time to cuff.
Powered by It's Nation TV.
My God, no!
It's Nation TV.
That's why I try to get in line. Play, execute, have fun, dub.
I can do a lot more than what I think I can.
What's goody, everybody? This is Bruke and you are now tuned into Early, the morning podcast, where we talk about a multitude of different topics, where you're bound to hear something that's of interest to you as well. So if you're watching this on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe to It's Nation TV. If you're catching this on Facebook, go ahead and like, go ahead and comment, engage with us, and you can go ahead and follow me at Bruke and you can follow my Brody Mek at itsnation.com.
Y'all know I make a lot of podcasts, and every podcast needs a website. Literally, I've tried to put all of my podcasts on one website, It's Nation TV, but I've definitely gotten to a point where I've realized that in order for each podcast to grow individually on its own, each podcast needs its own website. And the easiest way to make a website for your podcast is on podpage.com. Like, literally, it's the easiest way to make a website for your podcast. Like, dog, I'll do it right now. Like, literally. All you got to do is go to podpage.com. You know what I'm saying? If you got your podcast on Apple Podcasts, you literally type the name of your podcast in. You know what I'm saying? You type in the email for your account and boom, it literally, dog, I don't know how it does it. It's magic. It literally pulls up a bunch of different website templates from your podcast. And that's not even the crazy part. What's crazy is all of this is free. They got different tiers. They got a pro tier. They got a basic tier. Then they got the free tier. You know what I'm saying? The pro tier is definitely the way to go if you're taking your podcast seriously. But like with all of the tools that podpage.com gives you, it's well worth the bread, like well worth the bread that it is. Check the link in the description to get started with podpage.com. It's literally going to be the best thing you've done for your podcast.
At that.
Okay, we are back and we're bringing on Gracie J. Hello.
Hi. Good morning.
What up? What up? How you feeling, Gracie?
I feel good.
That's
I'm
good.
hot as fuck right now. I don't know.
Same here. My shirt's starting to drench a little
I'm
bit.
like,
we're gonna get through that.
No,
yeah,
but no,
so if like if y'all see any puddles like or whatever,
You look cozy though. You look comfortable.
Yeah, exactly. But definitely
Cozy
glad
and hot.
that you stopped. Definitely glad that you stepped on the show for sure. Just to give a little context to how I even, met Gracie. It was definitely New York Fashion Week. I think 2019, the fall. She was just fly as hell in the streets, and I was on my street photography shit, just catching fits and just seeing whatever I thought it was fly. I was just snapping shit. I seen Gracie. I was like, "Yo, boom, get a photo." She's like, "Hell yeah, boom!" Snap that shit up, send it to her, and then just from there, you know what I'm saying? We always just been talking, just relaying, you know what I'm saying? Just giving each other support, whatever the fuck we've been doing. So definitely like shout out to Gracie and
that's
shit
very
like
dope.
Yeah.
Shout out
some
to
of the
you.
best relationships are serendipitous. My bad. Go ahead.
Yeah, definitely. Like shout out to you. It was just such a random moment because I'm an awkward as fuck person. And I'm awkward as hell. And the fact that I even left the house that day to go all the way to the city to like, take pictures with my friend Marta was just like out of the norm. Yeah, like it was so out of the norm, and I was like, okay. And I was like,
is that me?
Me?
Facts. But so yeah, man, you're an amazing nail tech, but I feel like you're so much more than that. You know what I mean? Yeah, you're literally a Renaissance woman, a whole artist, like a real artist. But I do want to know, I mean, you said that you're kind of shy and stuff like that, but how have you kind of separated yourself? Oh, okay. What was the word
I'm
you used?
awkward. I'm
Awkward.
awkward.
Okay, yeah, there is a big
In
difference.
the words of Issa Rae, I am definitely an awkward black girl, but I'm not shy.
Sure.
I don't.
Hey,
sure.
there it goes.
Okay,
Make
yeah.
distinction.
Yeah, for sure. Because I was gonna say, like, you can't be if you put yourself out there in the way that you have, like, and I kind of want to know, how have you kind of separated yourself from being just considered a nail tech? You know what I mean?
I think it just comes from just being a kid and always kind of knowing that I was like just a little different from everyone, especially growing up in a Caribbean household. And my mom was like, I'm not getting Nikes, I'm not getting Jordans, I'm not getting it was always like the Payless brands and stuff. So from a very young age,
I resonate.
I had to get real comfortable real quick with being different from everyone else. So it was either I was going to kind of be like, oh, woe is me, I feel shitty about myself, or it was going to be, kind of, just do what you can with what you have. Yeah. And so I think I really took that mentality with me into adulthood. And even in the nail space, when I decided that I was going to leave the corporate world and become a nail artist, I went full in and I was like, all right, what am I seeing in the industry that I want to see, and how can I do that and set myself apart? I've never wanted to be like everybody else. I just don't. I think that's corny as hell.
Right,
it is.
100%. It's
right.
corny. It really is. It's corny if you make it your life's mission to really like be like if your intention is to really go out there and be like, I'm gonna be like this person, then that's corny as fuck.
No,
So it's just. Yeah,
I was gonna say, could you speak to that transition, like, because I'm not even aware of your corporate background. So, like, as being somebody as I see with so many outlets for how you get your creativity off, how was it like being in a position, I guess, when you're in a corporate setting, and I guess it's a matter of time, right? You can't give time to the other things that you feel like, yo, if I put my all into this, I feel like I can really be taking advantage of my situation, or just really being in the place in life where I want to be. So, like, how was that transition for you? And when did you realize you're like, you know what? I got to just dive in and just bank on myself?
Yeah, I mean, I've been doing nails as a hobby since I was 13. And just like full transparency, I'm about to be 33, so for about like 20 years now. So it was just something that I've always just done as a kid, but I never thought I could make a career out of it until I was in a corporate setting. When I graduated college, I graduated in like 2011, 2012, and I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do with my life. I've literally applied to hundreds and thousands of jobs. No one's calling me back. Right. And I need to figure something out. But also, there's a difference in how you approach life when you're in your 20s and when you're like in your late 20s and in your 30s. In your 20s, I feel like you feel so invincible. You can do anything and you can just fuck up over and over and over again. And you feel like time is on your side. So I was very aware that at a younger age, that I could just, take advantage of that right then and there, explore all the things I wanted to explore. And if it didn't work out, fuck it. When I was in the corporate world, so before I even got into nails, I decided I wanted to be in beauty. I've always, really loved everything about beauty. I did Fashion Week backstage when it was, at the Lincoln Center, when it was Mercedes-Benz Fashion Week. And I was like, oh my God, I'm like enamored by this shit. I love this. And going into the corporate space, I decided, I was going to kind of gear towards that. I went into the corporate space, and my last corporate job was working as the executive assistant to the VP at Mek Cosmetics. And an invoice came across my desk. And this was an invoice from a manicurist that was working on set for one of their jobs. And she was getting paid for like a 1 to 2 day shoot more than what I was working doing for over 40 hours a week. And
that's what do it. That'll do
yeah,
it right
and
there.
I was like, and I was like, and I just remember one of the college advisors that I used to like sit and talk to all the time. One of the things she told me before I graduated was, she said, when you go out in the world, she said, wherever you are, whoever you're with, whatever job you're at, no matter how minuscule you think it is, read everything. And I took that with me, and I literally read everything. It could have been a receipt. I read it. It was like a piece of paper. I read it. And because I took the time to thoroughly read what that piece of paper was, it changed the trajectory of my life. Because I was like, oh, I was like, I could do this and I could do this better. So I'm gonna go for it.
Like, I'm on the wrong side of this transaction.
Yo, I was like, I want to work smarter and not harder. I want to do less for more. I mean, granted, it's not, I don't want to take away from like, the amount of work that it takes to do what I do. And, for other people like myself who are in this creative field, but, I'm gonna say 8 times out of 10, it beats like, being in an office. And that's like no shade to anyone who does a 9 to 5. Like that's a whole other beast of its own. But yeah, I took that transition. I hit up my aunt and I was like, I think I'm gonna go do nails. She was like, can you have a sustainable life doing it? I was like, yeah. She's like, go for it. And so I went, I never looked back. And I was like, I think in the back of my head, I was like, if I'm gonna do this for like a year or two, if it works out, it works out. If it doesn't, but by the time that ball was rolling and that snowball was like getting bigger and bigger, I couldn't stop. And I was just like, no, like, why would I stop?
For sure. I'm kind of curious to know how, like, what was the first step that you took? Because I think when, we're all creatives here, it's not easy to kind of build your life off of your creativity in a way that is sustainable for yourself financially. It's not an easy thing to do. It's doable, of course, but it's so hard to kind of put yourself out there. Like, it's not even just that you have to be good at the art that you do. You have to market yourself. Like, you literally have to put yourself out there so people know that you're available, so people know that you know what I'm saying, that you're for hire, and or all these kind of things. You got to put yourself out there in a way that doesn't come natural to everybody, especially artists. So how, one, did you have a knack for that? And two, if you didn't, or whether you did or not, what was those first like couple steps looking like for you when you went off on your own?
So I've always had a knack for business. Is just an entrepreneurship. My first email address, I was like entrepreneur 16 at
really?
Yeah,
really?
at AIM.com, AOL.com. I remember just being mad excited about that because from a young age, I grew up in a single parent home and my mom worked her ass off. Like, this woman worked her ass off. She, she did what she could, with what she was given. And I just remember just I've always been a really observant kid, to the point where my mom said I was nosy, but I beg to differ.
I'm just curious. I'm inquisitive.
I'm very right. And I just remember just watching her and just seeing, our parents, I think a lot of times, at times they try to hide a lot from us, but kids are just very in tune. And so I just remember watching her and just seeing that, she worked her ass off and she had like, 2 kids on her own working. And, at 8, sometimes she was leaving me by myself in the house with my baby sister. And until you get to a certain age, then you're like, oh shit, like, the sacrifices and certain things your parent, okay, but that's besides the point. I'm going off on a tangent.
No, but I resonate so much. I think about that so often. It's like when I was growing up, I had one vision of what my parents were. As I've gotten older, I start to look back at what they were doing, and I'm like, oh, like
it hits different.
Like what they were doing and what I was picking up are completely different. Now that I'm an adult, I can see that.
Yes, you know how when they tell you, oh, when you grew up, you'll understand, and when you grew up, you understand.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
Adulting is hard, but I just remember just seeing her and thinking to myself, I don't want this life. I don't want this life. I don't want to struggle. I don't want to. And I just remember I used to do these things where we used to get like the Toys R Us circulars that used to come to the house. And I would go through and circle the little toys I want and count how much money that it would cost. And I would think to myself, well, if my mom had $50, if my mom had $100, then we could afford to get this toy. I would do this constantly. And it just really clicked something in my head where I was like, I don't want to be like this. And I kind of attributed that to, and even hearing her complain about her employers and shit, I attributed that to working for someone. And I was like, I don't want to fucking work for anybody ever in my life. So that pushed me to like want to do entrepreneurial stuff. Like in high school, I was making like tape and paper wallets and selling them for $2, like turning,
Wow.
you know, like just cutting out magazine collages. Like, I tell you, that shit was cute.
Selling
It was
wallets.
cute.
That's
It was
different.
cute. Yo, like,
That's crazy.
listen, I was like 13, 14, 15, and like just calculating, okay, if it takes me 15 minutes to make this and I charge $2 for it and I make this much, how much can I make? And that would be like my little lunch money, my little side hustle. And then eventually, and eventually when my mom saw that, she took me to like one of those craft stores in the city to like, you know, get those like fake leather and shit so I can make my own leather wallets, which I started doing, but I never like kept on. But shout out to Ian Kamen. Ian Kamen was a high school teacher. He was like social studies or something. And then he advocated to have an entrepreneurship class for the school. And I remember seeing that and I was like, I have to take that class. So he really, even with that even sparked even more me because it showed me what was possible and it showed me how easy certain things could be. You know, he got
kind
us
of demystifies like the like kind of demystifies some things.
Yes, it was just like, oh, this is actually possible, because we tend to overcomplicate things. And especially as Black folks, you know, I really hate with a passion when people say, oh, you know, as Black people, we got to work twice as hard for half of what they got. No, motherfucker, no the fuck I'm not. I'm gonna work to the capacity, right? Like, I'm not a fucking machine. I'm going to work to the capacity that I can and to my potential. And you're either going to accept my shit or you're not. But, you know, I love my work. I believe in what I stand for. I move through life with integrity. I know my shit is dope. I know I'm fucking dope. So it's either you with it or you not. And, you know, as the young lady on TikTok, what is her name? K Not Bay, as she says, the girls that get it. And the girls that don't. So I forgot what the question was. I know.
No.
You definitely went down the route, and I feel like I brought up more questions, but it was just basically like, what was the first step that you took? And
you got that was
but
you
was,
got there. Like, it was the paper wallets, and you kind of saw in your mom like what you saw what you didn't want for yourself, which kind of like brought along what you do want for yourself, you know?
Right.
And I was going to even speak to, so now that when you start building in your craft and whatnot, when do you start getting to the point where you're like, you're getting that traction, or you're in this position where you're like, yo, like, I'm a sought after name, or like how does that start feeling? Because, you know, you start having these type of clients where it's like, you know, there's levels to the clients, you know, and there's levels to the shit. There's people gonna be like, yo, Gracie, I need something.
We gotta get into the clause. We gotta get into clause.
What's the bag looking like? Like, you know, we gotta make sure it makes sense for all parties involved, you know. So like, when do you start getting to the point where you're like, oh man, like maybe I need to I'm
a commodity, I'm hot shit.
Yeah, facts.
No, it's like, it's taken a while to get there, and I think it comes with the community that's around you, when your friends and your family, and even like, you know, the community that you've built on social media, when they start like really affirming, like, no, you're it, like, you're the shit, like the things that you do is very different from what anybody else is doing. And so your eyes start opening a little bit more, and you start seeing, wait, I'm really pushing the envelope. I'm really, you know, doing certain things that are not out there. And I started even realizing it more with myself when I realized shit that I was saying 5-6 years ago, that I was saying, this is the trend, these are some terms that, you know, we should be looking at and stuff like that. And then now they're popping up. I was like, okay. I'm on to something.
I got the eye for it.
Right. I got the eye for it. I'm on to something. And, you know, the more you create, the more you hone in on your craft, the better you get at your craft, the more you start even surprising yourself. And you're like, oh shit, I didn't know I could do that. That turning point for me. Go ahead. My bad. Go ahead.
No. I'm not. I didn't even know. Please continue. I got it right on the top.
No, I was gonna say the turning point for me was when I had like a vision for a project, and I decided that I was gonna produce and creatively direct a shoot. And I, you know, within like less than 3 weeks, I put together a whole team. I got a location. I got, you know, food, and I got this down to every detail. And after that was done, I was like, oh shit, I can actually do this. Like, this actually came out pretty fucking good. That was like, I was like, oh no. I was like, y'all started something. Y'all don't even know. Y'all don't even know what you got.
You're not going to see me again.
Listen, yesterday's price
Yeah.
Literally.
Shout out
And
to
like
Joe.
so now right. And now since you start, now that you start really realizing the value of what it is that you start contributing, can you talk to the importance now of protecting your own IP in these spaces and making sure people don't play with your brand? Because this is something I know that you have to deal with constantly. And it's like a matter of, if I don't deal with it, guess what? They will run off. They will play. They will try to profit off of maybe something that I've brought to the market or shit like that. So can you speak to that side of the business? Because I feel like a lot of artists and creatives sometimes, they want to just think about the creativity, the passion, or whatever it is.
They want to sweep it under the rug.
You don't want to think you have to think about the legalities of everything that you're dealing with.
Yeah, you have to think about these things, and I think especially coming up as like a nail tech and then a nail artist and being in that particular space. When you look in the beauty industry, when you see how the industry kind of moves, they kind of treat us like the bottom of the barrel, right? So I think a lot of nail techs and nail artists kind of when they think about business, they don't necessarily think about it from the perspective that they fall under the creative umbrella. So I've kind of had to like really, just based on the work that I've created over time and having to shift my mind and be like, no, I'm an artist and nail art is a medium. And one of the things that I strive to do is shifting the perspective of how nail art exists in the beauty and the art space. So like the first time I ever heard of like trademark, there's this nail artist that I used to work with back in the day. Her name is Natalie. And I saw like she was the first person that I saw that went off on her own, opened her own like business as an independent nail artist. So I reached out to her, and one of the things she told me, she was like, "You need to trademark your brand." I was like, I was like, "What's that?" She's like, "You need to legally register your name." She's like, "And get a lawyer and pay a lawyer to do it for you." And she was like, "I know it. You're gonna look at the prices and hear their rates. You're gonna think it's expensive, but it's the best investment you will ever make in your life." And
good game right there. That was a good game.
For sure.
Natalie, like Natalie,
that shit
really
is expensive, but it is.
it's
You need to do it.
Yeah, but it's an investment. Would you rather spend like 3, 4, 5 stacks now and protect your brand, or having to or see like multi-million dollar company, or even another smaller brand jack your whole shit and profit from it and make mad bread off of it? And then now you're sitting here and you can't even fight it because you don't fucking own the trademark, so you can't defend your work. And even when you own the fucking trademark to your business, there are certain things it's still a fight. There are certain things you still can't fight. So that like really just took me like on a run, because I was like, no, I need to trademark everything. And that's so important because your intellectual property is an asset. Your intellectual property is yours. Like there's ownership is major. I don't remember the person that I heard this from. I was watching the like roundtable that Kanye did with the Black people in media. And someone on there, oh my God, I don't remember this woman's name. I did quote her on Twitter. I wish I remembered. My brain doesn't work as well as it used to.
We'll get in the
but
show
we'll get it in there. And I remember her saying like, your intellectual property is your equity. It is your legacy. And we all know about ownership. When you think about, historically, especially as Black folks in this country and even around the world historically, ownership is not something that we were taught to really be on top of. And even when we did own certain things, it was taken away. When you look throughout history and all these, inventions that were created, there were a lot of Black inventors, but you seldom see them get credit for it. Or you see niggas like Thomas Edison were jacking patents left and right to keep people from getting credit and money off of what they were creating. So I was like, nah, I need to protect everything. I keep everything, not everything, but I keep things close to my chest. I had to really shift my mentality and think to myself, okay, if I really do see myself as a brand and I see myself as a growing company, then I have to start thinking like these big fish, because anything they do, they're protecting everything. This is why you see even the Kardashians left and right, they're popping up with trademarks left and right, because they want ownership of their things. And anything that has to do with making money, you want to get profit and residual income from your own shit. Like, 100%. Especially as artists, we don't only create, you know, to sustain a livelihood, but we create because we're like, this is like something that's like right here. You understand what I'm saying? Like it's you know, your
And you see
innermost
that through what
passion.
you do. Yeah, and you see it. You can
Like,
see it through your shit for sure.
like I really like that's just I don't even have words. I don't even have words. Just like, you know, certain artists have, you know, a canvas, or some people, you know, do screen printing, or you have architects that deal with, you know, building, you know, structures and shit, interior designs. Like as a nail tech, as a nail artist, it's the same thing. And if anything, put some respect on our fucking name. So we be putting art on tiny ass canvases. Like
for sure. Bro, I look at some of the detail that goes into nails, like not just you. There's some amazing people out there in the beauty industry that do. I mean, you see it. I'm not you know what I'm saying, you see it on TikToks, and you see it on Instagram and all that type of stuff. There's some amazing work that's being done with nails, and I'm looking at the detail. I'm like, this is crazy. Like, what utensil are you using to, like, you know what I'm saying, like, use these to make these fine details?
Yo,
like, really,
like the brushes
actually.
be like as thin as an eyelash. Like,
yeah.
But
and
yeah,
like it's so crazy. We making like she'll
oh no, you're different.
She'll set up a whole museum.
You're different. You got the museum. You got the props. You got the
to literally display what she made.
You got the little people admiring the nails.
Like what?
No, because
you're
in art,
different for real.
But because in art, people won't always see what you see.
Right.
Where you see yourself, people won't always see that. And you know, the ideas that come to your mind, you know, the ways in which you know you want to, you know, showcase your work, where and who with, you can say it to someone, but nothing beats that than showing them what it looks like.
Right.
So when I say I am going to have my work in a prestigious museum one day, and y'all don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, I'm gonna show y'all what I'm talking about.
You see what I mean?
You see what I
Let me
mean?
give you a visual.
Like, come on. Like, come on. But yeah, like even like, but going back to what you were saying about intellectual property, there's no way in hell, and like you were saying also about, you know, seeing these artists out there that are just like, you know, killing it, there is no way in hell that, you know, you're creating these, you know, amazing bodies of work and you wouldn't want to protect it.
Right.
Spend the money, invest in yourself, be mindful of how you're speaking over yourself. Don't say, oh, you know, I'm broke, I can't afford it. I am investing in myself. This is going to come back to me tenfold. I am securing my future. Your intellectual property, like I said before, is an asset. Ownership is major, and you can get bread off of it.
Now, what you said, that's an important point. What you said as far as like how you speak to yourself. Like me personally in my life, I probably never say I can't afford something. I'm always telling myself like I can afford it when I get it, you know, or when I make the time to make the money for it. You know what I'm saying? Like you can save for anything. You know what I'm saying? So there's really nothing in your life that you can't afford. You just gotta position it in your head of like, oh, like, okay, you don't have the money for it right now, but at some point, at any time you make a plan for it, you can acquire the money for it. You know what I mean?
Especially when that shit's like priority to you.
Yeah, especially when it's important. Like when there's things, we're not like, I'm not talking about a trip here. I'm talking about things that you need. Like, you know, we do these podcasts and these videos. Like it costs a lot of money to buy all this equipment and everything like that. But you know, I've accumulated a lot of equipment over like 5 to 10 years. And people, when I go to shoots, people are like, oh, like how'd you get all this stuff? It's like, dog, like I've stacked little by little for a 7-year period. You know what I'm saying?
Rome was not built in a day.
Exactly.
Definitely
but I do want to get into I know that this is an NFT show. We talk about NFTs and stuff a lot. You know what I'm saying? Brooke told me he helped you with NFTs.
Yo, I got
your NFT collection.
I got the first Gracie J.
I peeped your joint on. I peeped your Rarible page. You got a couple of crazy NFTs on Rarible. I want to know, like, what's your NFT journey been like? How have you brought your art into NFTs? Yeah, what's your take? We kind of just want to shoot the shit about what you think about NFTs.
I love it. Okay, so my partner and his friends and his family, like they're very, very heavy into crypto. And they like way before it became mainstream, you know, during quarantine when everybody wanted to talk about these motherfuckers been investing in crypto forever. And the one thing that he would always say is like every single minute, especially during quarantine when you're in close quarters with somebody, and every day it's like crypto, and I'm like, if I hear this crypto thing one more, I'm like, I get it.
That's when it was jumping too. On Clubhouse, like niggas were talking about crypto
every day, and I was like, I get it, like, and he was like having me invest in things left and right and teaching me about cryptocurrency and that space. And I was like, oh yeah, like I understand it from like, a monetary, what's the word?
Like a value standpoint?
Yeah, from a value standpoint.
Like it is real value.
Yeah, no, it's real. It's the same way. So my partner works in tech. And one thing that he always told me was, if you want to progress in society, you have to follow technology. And when I remember as a kid, and I'm like, this makes me feel so fucking old. But I remember as a kid in New York City, when you would have to pay the fare in the subway, you had to pay tokens, right? And then it went from tokens, we're like, oh, we're not using tokens anymore and quarters, now we got to use Metro cards. And then now we're not talking about using Metro cards anymore. Now people could just tap their debit cards or credit cards or whatever, and you can just go through. So if you really kind of like, follow where society is going in terms of oh God, what's the word for like money? What's that other word?
Currency?
I forgot.
Fiat.
No. Yeah, I guess fiat system.
Yeah, fiat system.
Am I saying? I guess
fiat
whatever.
currency.
Oh,
tomato.
Tomato. If you kind of look at just the trajectory of like how money is evolving and how the usage of money is evolving, it's heading towards more digital. And 100%. So I was like, okay, like he got a point there, but as an artist, it wasn't really clicking with me of how it could relate to me and how I could really, take advantage of the space. It wasn't until his cousin hit me up and he sent me a link and he was like, there's this NFT thing happening and there's this like, website called Rarible and there's people putting art up. And he was like, I know your work is dope. He's like, some of these niggas want to hear some shit and they look trash. But he was like, listen, you might want to take a look at it. Took a look, kind of sat on it for a couple of months. And it wasn't until I started sitting in on the Clubhouse rooms and I was just popping in and just listening and asking questions that I was like, oh, okay, crypto, NFTs, nail artists. I see how, I see how this resonates. So, so like my partner and his friends and his cousin, they're constantly sending resources to me, to like, read up on things and stay on top of things. And even Bruke too, like Bruke really like, I'd be like, I have this idea, and Bruke.
Fact. I just like, what's wrong with it?
Yeah.
And even tying this back to even protecting your intellectual property, right? Like I trust Bruke, but I was like, nigga, you gonna have to sign this NDA because this shit is too far. I was like,
hey, no shame in that. Hey, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. Listen, I was like, this shit is too
I trust you enough to tell you it early, but I gotta protect myself.
Bruke is a real one because some people like, they don't, when you are conducting business, you have to do business shit. And not a lot of people understand that. Sometimes when you do that, the person takes it personal, like, oh,
they take it personal. It's like,
they take it personal. It's literally
not
personal. It's business. It's literally not.
This is such a sign of trust.
Yeah.
That I'm giving.
That I want to do, but also that I want to do business with you, or that I want to like talk to you about my business idea. Like,
100%.
But the moment I told Bruke, he was like, say less. And I was like, oh, okay, well, that's a real nigga right there. But like, we exchange ideas, like, all the time. And I tell him about, the ideas that I have, which I hope that one day will come into fruition. But I love the space. Like, I love everything about it. I love what I could do with it. It was one of those things that I wanted to, I haven't sold anything yet, which is perfectly fine, but I wasn't really pressed to like really sell anything. It was more so, it was more so just like an outlet for me to challenge myself, to expand my horizons artistically and kind of go back to my roots when, drawing, was like my first love and stuff. So I was like, let me explore things that I liked as a kid and, let me process, going through this pandemic and being stuck in the house. Let me just, create art. So that's, you know, kind of how I got some of my NFTs on there. And like my first series is like the Cats G series because I'm obsessed with cats. I have 3. I've been obsessed with cats since I was a kid. Where can we find your work in the NFT
Oh,
space?
they looking for
Literally.
it. Oh, they
Literally.
looking
They
for
looking
it.
for
Yeah.
Drop that
it.
Rarible.
Yeah, we gonna drop that link.
So yeah, I have stuff on Rarible. I believe I have some stuff on Foundation as well as OpenSea. Castrology is primarily on OpenSea because those gas fees, you know, be low as hell, you know, when you're putting out collections. So you know you gotta save the money. But
Talk
yeah,
about
like
investments. Talk about an
listen,
investment. Yeah.
listen,
God.
but like I was like, I want to explore like my childhood musings. I've been obsessed with cats since I was little. I used to draw cats all the time, sometimes in very precarious situations. I'm like,
That
because you know,
reminds me
as
of
kids,
Super
like,
Bad when he's drawing
yo,
the
like,
penises,
yeah,
like on a
listen,
rocket
why
ship.
kids love drawing dicks and stuff and just weird shit, and I would draw
Oh,
like
we-
cats. But I was like, okay, let me just explore this shit.
You
as
said
an
no,
adult.
Gracie. That's weird. That is weird, Gracie. You draw cats for? What's wrong with you?
No, but they were cat people.
No,
They were cat people.
that is weird.
They were cat people. Like they had you know cat faces, but they had human body. Listen, I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not into. Listen,
It's getting weirder. It's getting weirder.
Okay, I just listen because
Oh
I
my
know this is gonna live on the internet. I just want to clarify. I'm not into like weird shit. This is just-
There you good.
We
But
trust that.
I definitely want to shout out Gracie too. She definitely pulled up to Cohesion. You guys might have even passed and I even realized.
Oh yeah,
She
probably,
definitely pulled
'cause I
up
was
to the
there.
Cohesion
Yeah.
gallery. She even grabbed one of Mark's pieces.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I
right,
do.
right, right.
Yeah, we
Listen,
gotta run
I
that
cannot
back,
wait.
Yeah, hell yeah.
That's gotta get run
NFT
back.
NYC coming up, so we trying to cook up.
Wait,
some
when is
shit.
NFT
You know, I'm
NYC?
keep you in the loop. It's at the end of June.
Oh, it's lit.
Yeah. About to run that thing
Yeah,
back.
for sure.
It's
for
lit.
sure.
It's lit.
But yeah, you got anything? You want to say?
Nah, man, I really appreciate having this conversation with you.
Hell yeah.
Before we let you go, like definitely let people know. I don't know if you dropped the names of your accounts on like Rarible, OpenSea, and everything like that, but let people know where they can find your work.
And then
Oh no,
also-
you know what's crazy?
Yeah.
You know what's crazy? I would be remiss if I didn't ask you about this because I think it's so interesting.
Right.
But I heard you had done some work on Claws, and I wanted to know, like the show on TNT. I wanted to know because you know I'm super into like television and film, the whole industry. So I kind of wanted to know like how that experience came about, and you know what your time working on that show was like. Well, yeah, bad things to say. It wasn't lit.
No, let me say this. The opportunity came about from what I was told. I had done a feature. I had gotten featured on Essence and had my nail art on it, and allegedly that's how they found me. It was a really great experience from the perspective of like learning a lot about how to be a leader, how to, you know, navigate, you know, that particular space. And also it prepared me for future opportunities because now, you know, I know if somebody hits me up to be, you know, the department head for a TV show for nails, I know exactly what to do. I know how to break down a script. I know how to read a call sheet. I know how to like, you know, leverage relationships with brands, like, you know, to work around budgets and shit. I know all these things and I've learned and I've, you know, really spiced up my skills. But as far as like, I'm gonna just say the industry is weird.
You know, I really appreciate you speaking on that because I do see that. Like I've seen that because I really like deep dive into like the behind the scenes things of like different shows and just the industry in general. And I feel like if you're not somebody who, you know, was kind of like raised in it, there's people who are like lifers in Hollywood.
Right.
And I feel like if you're not one of those kind of people, it's strange.
It's
you know what I'm saying? Like how they deal with
it's a
each other.
culture
It's its own
shock.
community. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, listen, but like it's a culture shock. It is. I mean, I'm very thankful that my friend Alyssa was down there with me because I really needed that emotional support and the work support because it was a lot of fucking work. And not because I wasn't capable of doing the work, but, you know, I didn't have the resources that I needed. I wasn't given the resources I needed to do my job even better. But, you know, I learned a lot about people. I learned a lot about myself. I learned a lot, I think, and I'm thankful. You know, I'm not going to say, oh my God, the experience was all, you know, it was great and peachy, because that would not be the truth and it wouldn't be realistic. No experience in life is ever 100% peachy. But what I can say is what I took away from that was I learned about all the things I wanted to do and all the things I wanted to be and all the things that I didn't want to be. And coming off of that show shifted my perspective on integrity and how I wanted to move in my space and in my industry or in any other space. And I realized at that point where, you know, it was either I play the game and, you know, get to my destination faster and be less of myself, or I stay true to myself and I be myself 100% and take a little bit longer to get there. I learned that, and I'm forever thankful for that lesson.
Oh,
yeah, I really appreciate you telling us that. Like, that was that's great insight for sure. Because I think especially in that industry, like, it's got a lot of glitz and glam, so people think that oh, like, you've been bestowed with this opportunity, like, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, nah, like, I think that's kind of the world where or just those kinds of jobs that people look at as kind of like glitz and glammy. Those are the ones where you could easily be taken advantage of, because it's like, you should be happy to be here, you know what I'm saying? Where it's like, if you're a little bit of a stronger person, you're not gonna feel that way. Sorry, what'd you say?
It's like that in every space, really. I mean, I think it's just, you know, like it's amplified a little bit more because of the nature of the industry, but I think it's like that in every space. Like, and it's like that in the beauty industry. It's like that it's like that everywhere. And anywhere you go, especially as a Black person navigating the world, like, you know, and this is not like related to clause specifically, this is just a general statement. People are going to make you feel like, oh no, you should be grateful to be here. And I'm like, no, you should be grateful to be in my presence. Like,
in my presence.
You
should be grateful I decided to show up today.
Because with my introverted, extroverted ass, I would rather be at home on the couch watching Amphibia. So like, but I'm like, yeah, you can really speak to that in any industry, in anything in life in general. It is not even clause. People are just weird. Like, people are just fucking weird. But
facts. Definitely appreciate this conversation. You're funny as hell. You know what I'm saying? So it was dope talking to you.
I was a comedian in a past life.
Hey, I want you to definitely also link, as well as like all your social handles where they can get your NFTs. If you have any products that you got, you know, for sale, I don't know if you do or if you don't.
Anything you want to promote?
I know you have a website. Like, let them know. Let them know everything.
This is your time to shine.
So, okay, let me start. And y'all see the little sun above my screen.
I like that. Days of marriage, right?
If y'all want to check out my NFTs, y'all can check out my handle, Gracie, Graic. Is there an underscore? No, it's just, that's whatever. Yeah. Graic on OpenSea, Foundation, Rarible. If you want to check out my nail work, you can check me out on Instagram, Pinterest, TikTok at The Editorial Nail, which is
right under you.
Right there. And if y'all want to shop my products, my e-commerce, y'all can check out www.theeditorialnail.com. Thank you so much both for having me on the show today. This was so fun. This is one of the most fun interviews I've ever done.
Oh, that's lit to hear. That's lit to hear. Look at us. Look at us. We're decent interviewers. All right, it's lit. But yeah, Gracie, it was great having you on.
And definitely highlight you in New York, though, for sure.
Yes. Thank you. Yeah, let's link up, definitely.
Peace. Have a good weekend.
Peace. Have a good weekend. Bye. All right, that was Gracie J. Great interview right there. Sure. Yeah, she's funny as hell. Definitely love her vibe. Yeah, man, that's gonna wrap it up for the show too. Loved this episode for sure. Yeah, great episode. Anything you got going on interesting this week?
More the same, Brody. Gonna do some do some editing. It's so crazy. That's really the answer every time.
Every time,
I don't
but
care. That's
consistency.
what it is, y'all.
Like that's gonna be the answer for years. You know what I'm saying?
100%.
It's crazy. Like it's funny because like consistency. You always got to be working. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're not working, then what are you doing? You know what I'm saying? And the effects compound for sure. Before we go, definitely make sure to follow us on YouTube if you're not, or subscribe to us on YouTube if you're not already subscribed. We are on that road to 1,000 subscribers, man. We need y'all help to get to 1,000 subscribers. So we're on YouTube, Early the Morning Show. We're on Spotify, Early the Morning Show. Subscribe, like, rate on there as well. That shit helps us out a lot. So
sure does.
Don't overlook it. If you like the show, tell us, show us, support us. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's the show, man. We're gonna see y'all next week on Early
69.
Yeah, for sure.
Early.